when you have millions and millions of people living in a city, they can't all live in that.
This Labor government is not planning to build infrastructure before people move in. They've been waiting until it's already too late, frankly. If we're going to be building house after house after house in these communities, we've got to come up with better ways to build infrastructure before people move in.
You've got an old farm track with tens of thousands of new homes going in. Donnybrook Road is a disgrace.
How do people cope with the traffic? It just goes on and on and on.
Australian outer suburbs are probably the worst designed in the world, and we're locating huge numbers of people in them.
Wow, so currently it's like 6 o'clock in the morning and we are coming up to Donnybrook Road, but the traffic is basically already at a standstill coming into the city. That's wild. The sun's not even up yet and it's bumper to bumper. Look at this dude, he's trying to dodge the traffic, just going off-road. Australia, or Australians rather, now live in the largest houses on average in the world. That's right, bigger than the US, bigger than Canada, which is crazy. It's an average of over 200 square meters, 230, something like that. And as a result of living in these massive houses, a natural result of that, it has to be urban sprawl. Down there is just like traffic as far as the eye can see. So I've got my bike, so I'm gonna have a cycle down there. We'll see how it looks.
If Donnybrook backs up, then both of the roads will get backed up. But
Right.
It probably happens past 7:30, close to between 8 and 9 is the main peak.
I don't have my bike at the moment. This is my girlfriend's bike and I'm way too big for it because I'm super lanky and the helmet's all fucked up and doesn't even fit me. So this here is Dwyer Street. So this is the one road that they used to have. They've now got two leading out of the estate, but I mean, I'm no mathematician, but I assume that means it used to be twice as bad as this. So we're in the estate. We're not even out yet. So Donnybrook Road is where it gets really bad, but they've got to turn out of here. So it all just banks up here. Donnybrook Road gets cooked, and then the two roads leading out of here get cooked. And then you get on the Hume, and then there it's really bad too. So it's just an onion of fuckery. It's just layers on layers. Alright, so we're just heading up toward Donnybrook Road now. Fuck, dude. It just goes on and on and on.
You've got a single lane each way old farm track, which literally was an old farm track. It was not meant to deal with the huge volumes of traffic it is now.
So it's not even just Kalkallo, it's not just Dwyer Street or that new bridge that they built. It's Donnybrook Road going like both ways. Well, no wonder no one's cycling to the train station from there. This is a pretty miserable experience. I can't imagine being on foot would make it really much better either. Probably quite a bit safer, but I don't know how much more enjoyable. What's going on, boys?
Getting the shit out of me.
This traffic's scaring the shit out of me. Is it like this all the time?
All the time.
Oh my god, we finally got a footpath. Oh, and what a gorgeous footpath it is. Could you estimate how many cars per day are passing through that road for a commute?
There'd be tens of thousands, easily tens of thousands. Of homes, yeah, and more going in.
So pedestrian end, cycling end. We'll see about that. Hey, what's up? Anyone catch that? I don't really catch that. So is it always like this, the traffic?
Yes.
And so this goes on all the way to the bridge up there. It's just really bad. And then once you get onto the Hume Highway, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, all the way up to the highway here is just a mess. This is blue on the map, and then like as you come in, like as you go further down on the Hume, that's when you hit the red. It kind of makes sense why no one's using the other exit, because you would just be waiting further back in all that traffic instead of just popping out there. So you're probably better off only using that one, even though there's now 2 roads. What an old relic that is. So this is a real look into the past of the area. This is basically like an old farming area. And you can see that in these couple of houses here. These aren't great, large, big, new estates. These are like old grandpa houses. And I guess they're selling up. And this is no doubt gonna be knocked down and they'll put some great big McMansion there. It's so interesting to see. So this is a Donnybrook train station. Interesting. That really is fuck all parks, isn't it? Like, how is that going to mobilize? Oh, there's some more over there, but like, how is that expected to mobilize tens of thousands of people in the outer suburbs to the city? Hey man, do you know when the next train is?
9 o'clock.
No, what time is it now? 8:30 or something?
Yeah.
Ah, do they only come once an hour?
Yeah, a bit longer actually.
A bit longer than once an hour?
Like an hour and 20 minutes since the between this one and the one before, so.
Wow. So is that the fastest way for you to get to work, like, or do what you do?
Yep.
Just sit here for, how long do you have to wait?
Yeah, usually I catch the one at 7:45, 7:45. But the bus was late, so I've been here since before 8.
Wow.
And I've been here for 40 minutes already.
So you'll be here for like over an hour. Does that happen much? The bus runs late?
Yeah, usually.
Usually?
Yeah, the 5:25 bus is always fun.
Yeah. Is that the one coming out of Kalkallo or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they put that new road in, and I was surprised to see like no one's using it. The bridge.
I don't even know they put a new road there.
It's not helping much, clearly. Have you noticed a difference, like getting here on time?
No, it's still packed in that where that bridge is.
Yeah. So you must spend like a couple hours each way overall, right?
Yeah. Usually if like everything's on time and I can kind of, get straight off the bus and come get onto the train, it's like an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like,
Like an hour in
2
total to
hours.
get to the city?
No, to Wallen.
Oh.
That's where I work.
Oh, you're working. Oh, because you're going this way.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha. Yeah.
Commuters, particularly in that Donnybrook and Kalkallo area, consistently complain to me about missed trains at Donnybrook, cancelled trains at Donnybrook, or where they literally cannot get on the train because it's full by the time they get to Donnybrook. V-Line was never meant to be a train line for suburban areas, like dense suburban areas, which is what they're turning into.
So that young man, he's not even going towards the city. He's going against the grain from Kalkallo to Wallen, and usually an hour, but sometimes an hour and a half to 2. And apparently the bus is usually late because of all the traffic. So he's going to be sitting there today for over an hour. Fucking hell. So this is all the car parks that they have here available at the Donnybrook station. I think it's about a total of 150. And back there, the ones that we saw earlier, where there was like 10 or 20, that's what it used to be. So that's when this is still V-Line. And that's when it was a little country suburb full of farmers and whatever, And now it's just totally exploded. And so they've put in an extra 150. So it's gone from 10, and this here is 150. But it's still, that's a sign of the explosion that this area has seen. But 150 is still not even close to enough, to mobilize this whole area where there's tens of thousands of people into the city or out to Wallen or wherever they need to go. You do the maths. Tens of thousands of people, 150 car parks. I mean, that's the sort of efficiency that you can expect from Victoria's big build. The Australian dream. You too could have a 2-hour commute and live in one of these gorgeous period pieces for $700,000. Why not? Why not take up a 30-year mortgage, live on Fallow Way, where there's nothing. This is what we're choosing to build. Look at the size of that. That block could fit a whole block of my apartment block, like a whole block of medium density apartments. Yet one person, or one family rather, maybe 4 people, is gonna live in that. Look at all that space that's being taken up. Go! Back in the olden days, this is what it used to be like around here. Just a couple of little houses like this, and 10 car parks at the train station for your Mars and Pars to come through into the city every now and then. And recently, it's just exploded into this dystopia. It really is a relic of the past, that, isn't it? They would have sat there and had their coffee of a morning in their nice, quiet, sleepy little suburb with the option to catch a train into Melbourne City, and it would have been a nice, quiet little getaway. But today, it's a spaghetti suburb of roundabouts and identical townhouses.
The whole precinct city will be the size of Canberra by sort of 2040s, 2050s. It's only 30% done. If you look at the size it is now, Kalkallo, Donnybrook, that kind of area, it'll go much further north, and it's only 30% completed. So it's going to be enormous.
Are there any sort of plans for infrastructure to come along to support that population growth, or is it a case of we'll just figure it out when that time comes?
Well, it seems to be the latter.
How do people cope with the traffic?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
You don't have to cope with it? Or
No.
No? Do you just walk over?
Yes.
Ah, lucky. One of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally the cafe's open. It's just opened, so we can grab a coffee, but it's funny because, it almost feels like nothing here is built for the people. The cafe is not built for the people that live here. It opens at 8:30 and everyone's probably, long gone to work by then. So this cafe is built as something to attract people to buy here. It's not even open when people are on their way to work. And it just so happens to be that the cafe is in the same area where you buy the properties. They've thought it out, they've got a system. The population of this city is exploding. I think by 2050 it's supposed to be somewhere between 8 and 10 million people. And that population is moving to those outer areas, right? Do you think that as a result of that, we need to look at building more medium density sort of living spaces? I mean, we currently build on average the largest houses in the world. Is that going to be sustainable with that sort of population for the city?
Yeah, I think we've got to look at the demographic choices in these arguments as well. By and large, the majority of new migrants, and especially those that I speak to, want to live in a detached house with a bit of a backyard. And you don't get much of a backyard in some of the estates we're talking about, but somewhere that you can have a bit of open space as well. And they're really attracted to these kind of areas because that's where their family is. That's where their cousin is or brother is, and their families are as well. And so it's much harder to convince people to move to a 3-bedroom apartment in Essendon or somewhere like that.
So, you come here and you check out the suburb in the middle of the day once it's quietened down, and you grab a coffee, you wait here, and you have a look at all the good things about the area. 2 train stations, Donnybrook and a proposed new station. That's actually 1 station. That's not 2.
You know, in many of the new estates like this one, there'll be signs up saying, you know, bus stop coming soon that the developers put up, and it's usually 10 years away.
And that's how it's sold, you know. 36-minute train commute to the CBD. In practice though, really? Is that what's happening? Unlikely. All information and statements based on information available to Stockland at this time and may be subject to change without notice. It's a wish list. So this is how big this Cloverton area is going to be overlaid on Melbourne. This stripy one here. That's got to be like 5 times the size of the CBD. And it's only going to have 30,000 residents. That's nuts. I don't really think there's anything that sustainable about 30,000 people in an area between the equivalent space of Brunswick and South Melbourne, but I don't know, they've got some watermelon there, so I guess that's cool. Taniki as well, that sales office only opens up at 10 a.m. It's open 10 till 5. And, you know, they know what they're doing. Like, now it's 9 a.m. or 20 past 9 or something like that, and it's really quietened down. So they don't want anyone coming. Like, if they open at 9, people are going to be driving here at 8:30 or like 8 or whatever, and they're going to come across all of that traffic. So they're on purpose opening up later than standard business hours, so people that are looking to move into the area don't see how shit the traffic is. That's definitely deliberate.
Shit house.
Can I? Yeah, is it bad?
It's terrible.
Did you know about the traffic like when you moved here, or did you find out when you got here, or?
No, there wasn't. Well, when we first got here, there wasn't much traffic.
Okay.
It just got worse over time.
Ah, when did you get here? How long have you been here for?
5 years.
Oh, okay, and then the population just really took off?
Yeah.
Yeah, has that new road over there helped at all?
Yes and no. I leave about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, okay.
So there's not much traffic in the morning.
Yeah.
But on the way home, there's traffic everywhere. So
What's the general vibe here? Like, how does the community feel about it?
I hate it.
So I suppose you call him one of the lucky ones, leaving at 5:30 in the morning and not really having to deal with that. But when he moved here 5 years ago, there wasn't that traffic because there weren't that many houses here. So I guess it's not really something that he signed up for, so to speak. Thought he got in early, got a good deal, and then boom, traffic. Another Your Land project coming soon. It's not stopping, it's not slowing down. That's what all those housing estates used to be, and that's going to be another one. And that's just going to be another 10,000 cars on the road.
You know, if there's a fire and you got a leave now alert, it would be impossible because of the state of the road. And it's not just the fact it's not duplicated. I'd also say the state of the road is really bad as well in terms of potholes and things like that. It wasn't meant to cope with this much traffic, and you can still see as you're driving down construction of more and more homes. And you got to think, you know, when is this going to become a priority? At the moment, it's not, because they're funding $35 billion into suburban rail loop in the eastern suburbs, instead of focusing on our growth areas like Donnybrook and Kalkallo, who desperately need a duplication of that road.
Anyway, Melbourne's a great city. If you live there like me, you're very lucky. It's a great place to live. It's consistently rated as one of the best cities in the world to live in, one of the most livable. But it's becoming very quickly one of the most unlivable, because the most livable suburbs are no longer being recreated. We're creating Kalkallo, Donnybrook. It's an endless list of dystopian spaghetti suburbs like this. And if we're not careful, that's what the vast majority of the city is going to become. The lovely, tree-lined, public transit-filled inner city suburbs, it's going to be a place like Disneyland, where we drive in 2-3 hours to enjoy. Meanwhile, we live in these areas where there's just a mall complex owned by some publicly listed company nameless and faceless, and we stay exhausted with shortened lifespans from long-ass commutes. So what are we gonna do about it? I don't know. I make videos, I'm not an activist, but hopefully we can do something. And I don't want this to become, and it's also not a conversation purely about immigration. That's far too easy. Yes, 500,000 people a year coming in to a country of 26 million people is obviously not sustainable. Those numbers don't work, but immigration's a necessary part of the country and it does a lot for us. So this needs to be more of a conversation about density, about public transit, and most importantly, about urban planning, which is an umbrella for those two things, I suppose. So let's start making this city a good city to live in again, because right now it's getting shit. Anyway, I'm in India right now, so I'll be here for the next little while, maybe a couple of months or something like that, so I'll be coming at you with some videos from here. See you on the next one. Peace.